Kellogg's Diner is a 96-year-old culinary institution here in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. Working in a restaurant that never closes is a little bit different because there's not that moment of solace when you walk into the kitchen and nobody's arrived yet. The hoods are always going, the lights are always on, people are always here. The executive chef role can look a little bit different at different restaurants, but here at Kellogg's, I was brought in to develop the menus, and we have 7 of them currently. Breakfast, brunch, lunch, dinner, late night, dessert, and the kids menu. This new role is really fun and challenging. I particularly love it because Kellogg's does mean so much to so many people, and I've had an opportunity to fulfill that nostalgia and carry the torch. I'm Jackie Carnesi, the executive chef here at Kellogg's Diner. We are open 24/7. It's noon on a Tuesday, and I just got here, so y'all can follow me. I'm all suited up. It's 12:30. We're here in the kitchen. The lunch and breakfast team are working currently, and there's a lot of action happening. You can follow me downstairs. We're gonna check in with the pastry team and do some inventory. We have 2 kitchens here at Kellogg's. The upstairs is largely culinary. Downstairs is where the pastry team works. We're gonna check in with Jaydell and Reina and see how their day is going so far. Hi, Reina.
Hi, Jay.
¿Cómo estás? Hi, Jay.
Hi.
This is Jaydell. She's head of our pastry team right now.
I'm making the meringue for tonight's service. It's going to be going on the passion fruit pie. Reina's doing the base of the passion fruit, which is the graham crust.
A couple of the most popular dessert here are the passion fruit pie and the strawberry pretzel salad. Those are 2 desserts that I really wanted to see on the menu, and they made it happen. A pretty small team that cranks out a lot of product, and rightfully so. Our pastries here have gotten a lot of attention. It's a really phenomenal pastry program, and these guys do a lot of work. Let's see. Okay, so it looks like our mussels came in and our clams. We'll get these purging. For Christmas Eve and Christmas, we're doing a special menu, a Feast of the 7 Fishes. So I ordered a bunch of product to work on R&Ding that brand new menu that we're doing just for a couple of days. And I need to make sure that all of the seafood that I ordered came in. Our snapper did come in. We're gonna pull it out, make sure that it is nice and fresh and good to go. Clear eyes. The gills have already been removed, but obviously we're always looking for fresh gills. We'll get these changed out onto fresh ice and get it back on the walk-in. A lot of times diners are viewed as places where the menu is like pretty stagnant. We're really trying to avoid that. But we currently have 7 menus in rotation. We use all of them at any given time. I think if I had to total it up, it would probably come to something like 200 menu items. With the exception of pastry, all of those have been recipe tested by myself or somebody on my team. So now we're gonna go from my favorite space in the restaurant to do my least favorite task, which is answering emails. We're here in the office. I would much rather be in the kitchen working on stuff, but emails have to be answered, so here we are. Don't look at my password. I just got a couple emails here talking about how Kellogg's was just mentioned in Grove Street as a feature of the best new food in New York of 2024, which is really exciting. I'm really proud of our team. We've worked really hard, and it feels really good to be acknowledged in that way. A lot of the emails that I answer are between the owners and myself, trying to figure out things that we need to change about the restaurant. Being a line cook is really great because you don't have to answer email, but being a chef is really great because you don't necessarily have to work the line every single night. And as much as I love working the line, it is exhausting. And the older you get, the less feasible it becomes to work the line 6 or 7 nights a week. Now we get to go back into the kitchen and do what we love to do. It's 2 o'clock. We're experiencing a changeover right now. Morning shift is leaving and night shift is coming in. So there's a lot of traffic. People are setting up their stations, putting stuff away, and I'm getting ready to work on the soup of the day. Every sandwich is served with the soup of the day, so it needs to be something that any guest can eat. I think today I'm kind of feeling cheesy potato soup. But the soup of the day is really kind of like I get to choose whatever I want to do in the moment type thing. There are only a few stipulations that I try to hold myself to, which is I try to make sure it's vegetarian or vegan. Now we're in our dry storage area. Here are all my beauties. We actually have 3 walk-ins in this restaurant. The first one is upstairs. It is just for food that has been processed already. Down here is only produce and bar. In our other walk-in is just meat, dairy, and pastry. Let's grab some onions. I try to the best of my ability to not order any extra produce. Even though we would go through it very quickly, we just don't have that much space. So I tried to just use what we have. And one thing we have is a lot of potatoes at all times. So typically I try to produce at least 22 to 30 quarts of soup at a time. That'll last us roughly 3 days. I very much could have developed recipes and passed this task along to the prep team. But once we opened up for lunch, I just found that I really enjoy doing it. It's kind of my once a week little zen place. One of my favorite things to do is steal a Pellegrino from the bar. It makes me feel important. So we're just gonna go ahead and peel all of these potatoes, get everything prepped out. Kellogg's recently changed ownership. It was closed for a period of time, and I was brought on and tasked with changing the menu. Being from Texas, I was really excited to put a little bit of Tex-Mex flair on it, feature some dishes that really meant a lot to me, like migas, which is a dish that I grew up with. We're gonna cut up our onions for the soup. One of my biggest gripes about working here is that nobody takes labels off of anything. There's this big thing among the chef community, or at least every other restaurant that I've worked at, where it's considered so offensive to leave labels on stuff, and here nobody cares. Would I prefer that people take their labels off stuff? 1,000%, because then I end up with things that say French toast or salsa verde, and I can't get them off. You gotta pick and choose your battles, for real. So I have to be strategic about when I do decide to cook the soup. There's this kind of sweet spot at changeover when the AM prep team is leaving and the pastry team is leaving. So I can prep here pretty quietly and out of anybody's way. And then once the AM prep team is gone from upstairs, then I can take everything upstairs and cook the soup without being in their way as well. It's 3:30. I haven't eaten yet today. We do family meal, but it's not up for another hour, and I'm really craving migas. Migas are on the menu because I grew up eating them. There's a restaurant called Mi Torito in Brownsville, Texas that my family and I used to go to after church every Sunday. Migas are essentially day-old chips, typically crisped up in a pan, and then a little sauteed onion, tomato. We put jalapeno and poblano in ours, and then scrambled egg. I really like to eat mine specifically with doña sauce. So doña sauce is really popular in Austin. It's hot sauce just made from roasted jalapenos, garlic, lime juice, salt, and some blended oil to emulsify everything. And I put it on anything and everything. We fresh fry all of our tortilla chips in-house. We have the half moon shapes that we use for flat nachos, which are an homage to a restaurant that I grew up eating at in Brownsville, Texas called the Vermilion. Basically, flat nachos are just individually assembled nachos, refried beans, melted cheese, marinated fajita steak, pickled jalapenos. It's great. Maybe it's a little bit depressing, but typically I eat my lunch here in the office. It's just one of the few places where I'm not going to be in anybody's way. So I'm going to eat this up, and I'll see y'all later. It's 4 o'clock, I ate lunch, and now we're gonna move into working on R&D for our Christmas prefix. I'm working on a steamed mussels dish. I'm getting started by slicing up some shallots and garlic. So we're actually doing Feast of the Seven Fishes, which really is pretty abnormal for diner food, but we wanted to do something exciting and a little bit different. So we're gonna get these mussels debearded, and then we'll scrub them up. When I work on a new dish, either it comes to me organically, like divine inspiration, or the inspiration comes via the owner or another chef telling me, hey, I really think we need something like XYZ on the menu. I'm gonna run upstairs, grab a saute pan, some wine, and some other stuff, and I'll be right back down. I just need to grab a utensil. Sorry. Head back down. Corner. It's so big and there are just so many people here that stuff is constantly moving around and going missing. Like the amount of time that it may take me to find a peeler is sometimes infuriating. But, you know, I get a lot of steps in. It's really about like kind of being flexible. I really have to just like figure it out every day as I go. And sometimes that can be, you know, a giant waste of time, and sometimes it works out beautifully. Okay, so what we're trying to accomplish here is create a steamed mussels dish that is a little bit spicy, filling, has a nice body to the sauce, but isn't saturated in butter. We're gonna render out a little bit of this chorizo. Oh, we just don't have any hoods down here. So we're all gonna be coughing because now I'm cooking chilies in a space with no hoods. So we're gonna let those steam up. I'm gonna run upstairs and grab some tasting spoons. Be right back. Sorry. Can I grab some of these spoons? Thank you. Cool. Man, it's really smoked out down here. Admittedly, I think the sauce needs a little bit of acid. We have a chimichurri that we put on our short rib hash that I think will probably do really nicely to finish out this dish. I want to reduce the sauce a little bit more so it gets a little bit more body. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with it. Yeah, definitely need some herbs in here. Maybe for a second, I might be inclined to be like, wow, this is so much work for 1 day or 2 days of service. But realistically, it's like the thing that I love to do the most is cook and create. So I got to check myself really fast if I ever start complaining about it. It needs a little bit of acid. It's a little bit on the salty side, but we're really close. Pretty good for the first attempt at what we're trying to do. Normally, if I'm creating something for the menu, I try to do a few versions of it. And especially since we're on a little bit of a time crunch, you know, the holidays are coming up, we're gonna need to take photos of this food so we can show people what we're making and, you know, have the staff try it, create allergy sheets and information sheets for the servers to look at. It's 5 o'clock already. We have a bunch of guests coming into the diner right now. I'm gonna put a pause on R&D for now. I'm gonna run upstairs and check in on the kitchen, see if we can lend a hand on the line. It's just a little bit after 5 p.m. I'm gonna go ahead and make the patty melt. Ours is a little bit different in that it is rye bread, but we also put pimento cheese as well as cheddar cheese on here, caramelized onions, and a 5-ounce dried burger patty. Pimento cheese is made in-house like everything else here. We do put fresh jalapenos in our pimento cheese, so it's a little bit on the spicy side. There you go, patty melt, nice and melty. Now it's time for me to kiss babies and shake hands in the front of house, make sure everything's good up there, and you guys gotta get out of here. Thank you for coming.